But the rock is cooking.
Recording live from count them, 3 locations.
This is Past Breath.
My name is Patrick, and as always, I'm joined by 2 mean green men. Caesar, a.k.a. LCs.
Eat a fat one, James Madison University. We're going to go in front of you, baby.
And Jacob, a.k.a. Befty.
Been watching college football too long to not to have that much faith in the committee today.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
11-19. Don't have enough faith in them to say that, but sure, it's nicer that maybe the numbers are steering in that direction.
Okay, listen. The only reason I say that is when we get, I'll get to my reason when we get to college football, unless that's what we're starting with.
It's fair.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna call an audible and just skip my first little thing there because I didn't get all the audio and video presentation that I wanted for that done. So we're just gonna move into the college football stuff and just not college football stuff. We're gonna move into the basketball stuff. We're gonna kickstart with that.
Which also isn't too heavy.
We're gonna tip off the show. There we go.
But only because you passed that up, I do feel like it's worth us just noting a couple of important Mavericks details since last we talked.
Yeah, I didn't look at any of that new language about the stadium and all that.
Yeah, it wasn't much there. I mean, there was, but there wasn't. It literally was the headline. But so number one, I got to see the Mavericks pretty close and personal. I really enjoyed it. They're playing the Clippers. James Harden kicked the shit out of them. Ivica Zubac, just 4 bigs on that roster. No, really only 3 in that game. Moussa Cisse is a really fun player, and I think the Mavericks are going to enjoy moving on from one of those bigs soon and letting Cisse be a full-time player. D'Angelo Russell experience all in one night. Yeah, it was great. But it was really cool to see Harden, and Harden putting that ass whooping was cool because, like, as more of the NBA fan than the Mavs fan, that was kind of where I was. They babied Cooper a little too much. That was disappointing, but he played well.
How long did it take to get used to staring at that court?
Theirs was very easy. The Mavericks court was just a simple blue, not as bad as what it has been in the past. And when you're really like, we were close. Like, you know, yeah. I got to find myself in the recap video. It was fine. It was not too bad. It was blue. The funniest part is we didn't even think about it until we got there, and then they're giving out free cups, like as a part of it, Mavericks cups at the game, as a part of it being a cup game.
I like that.
And so we're just like, what the fuck? And then, swear to God, Payman and I basically are in our seats before we both look at each other like, bro, this is a fucking in-season. Like, we literally, the court's blue. We didn't even, it took us that long to register.
I would have been like, oh shit, it's a Legends game tonight.
Yeah, so even the Legends court is in blue. It's just
I just felt like I was immediately, my first thought would be like, oh, I'm at the wrong event. This isn't an NBA game.
So no, it was definitely fun. Other news, Mark Cuban says they're in it to win it, and they're not trading Anthony Davis, but that also could just mean that they're trading Anthony Davis.
They're not trading him today.
Yeah. And then the final bit of news, like you were just hinting at, the Dallas Stars have rebuked and rebutted a little bit of what's been accused from the Mavericks. Highlights of that story are a couple things. They defend themselves on the moving to Frisco headquarters, which is obviously no secret. I mean, I worked for the Texas Legends. And
literally everyone's known that they've been operating out of there for 20 plus years.
I was stunned when this news came out. I'm like, I literally worked for the Legends for a couple of years, and they share a building basically with the basketball arena, right? And the operations team with the Legends. And it's, at least they did. I think they might have a big facility now, but they did for a long time. And so I'm just like, okay, yeah, this is normal. I mean, they still play where they play, whatever. Come to find out, this was part of the bankruptcy thing. It was very much made public in the bankruptcy. This bankruptcy took place in 2011, I believe.
Like even before that, it wasn't a secret.
Yeah.
Like technically, it was just they had originally signed, but like the Mavericks were aware. They weren't, and they didn't care. Mark wasn't.
From a legal standpoint, the Stars were out in the open as far as the Mavericks are concerned, and maybe it's not the Mavericks' due diligence or whatever to do that. But 15 years later, that's a little tough to call that now. And then on top of it, you're the Adelsons. You just bought this franchise brand new basically for as far as franchises go in sports. And you didn't you just want us to believe that there's no knowledge of this. You can't you wouldn't go the extra mile to then research that information before making a accusation.
They didn't on the Luka thing either, so
no, and it seems very clear that you can get into the politics of it all and maybe even draw a little comparison to the tactics here. But realistically, the Adelsons seem to be being nefarious. I will say today's
more carelessly
nefarious. I mean, the Vegas thing is alarming because of the obvious, but it's also sort of in the back of my mind. I'm wondering if that was a clerical error based on the fact that obviously they've probably got bases in Vegas, having made a lot of money off of casinos. So that's where I'm just okay, I get that part of this equation. I'm not stupid to say that it makes no sense. It's not like when the Oklahoma City investor bought the fucking Sonics, okay? It's not that obvious, right? But it's a little too close for comfort. So that's the three notes, really. Nothing too crazy to expand upon.
Mavs are going to play half their season in Dubai in the next 5 years.
Yeah, well, and so half of every pro sports league probably too. Injuries for the basketball world, including the Mavericks. We'll get to them. I just went in chronological order, so alphabetical by city, I believe is what it is. And this is on ESPN's injury report list. This was just me trying to get the best idea of where we're at with the injuries, because if you're like me and you're keeping track of this thing kind of loosely, not necessarily as heavily as you would football, because there's a billion games all the time, you're like, hey, man, is it just me or is there a lot of dudes injured right now? Legitimately, too, in a lot of these cases. And so it got me wondering, and it is kind of a funny group when you put it in a certain way. And everybody kind of has a different story. So to start, the Bulls, the Magic, the Raptors, and the Wizards are basically the only teams without fairly annoying to respectably devastating injuries right now. Obviously, they've got players in and out of games and whatnot, like everybody. But for the most part, that is the only 4 out of 30 NBA franchises that are actively fielding most of the roster they choose to every night.
You said Magic?
Bulls, Magic, Raptors, Wiz. And yes, 2 of them got off to a hot start. Raptors are keeping it up. Magic, they have been back and forth, but they're probably fine, even though now Paulo's going to be in and out. They already had Mo Wagner coming back on that one. And the Wizards are just awful. And they're playing everybody for the most part. I mean, some old guys are getting rest days, but yeah. I
didn't know Chicago lost 5 in a row.
Yeah, Chicago came where we didn't even have to get to that hot start thing with Chicago. That was a blink and you missed it hot start for sure. So Trae Young, knee injury, out since Halloween, basically. Hawks have been incredible since. This one's going to be close to the Mavericks fans' chest, too. Kristaps Porzingis, knee, out since the 13th of this month. Not too bad, but reports are already out that they're looking to dump his contract. Jason Tatum, Achilles, out since playoffs. We knew that one. Cam Thomas, basically the only bucket getter on the Nets, out probably out since the 7th, probably for all of the 2025 year. When I say year, I mean they're not expected back until January. When I say season, they're done. Dunskies. Brandon Miller, shoulder, out since basically 2-3 games into the season. That's the Hornets, second best player, more or less. They've got really talented rookies. They could be off to a better start with him. Darius Garland, 3 of 15 games played with the Cavaliers. They're doing fine-ish without him. He's also a player who's, unfortunately, this far in his career, this isn't a new thing with Darius Garland. Dante Exum, now that we get to the Mavs, with a knee, hasn't played and there's no timetable. Part of me wonders if there's a deadline they're waiting on to maybe just cut him outright and then sign Musa, or if there is a possibility that they are looking to dump his salary in a trade, and that's why he's just basically a ghost. But I was there. I saw him in a hoodie chilling. He is Exum is alive and moving around. Looked fine to me. AD with the calf out since basically Halloween as well. That one is a weird timetable because obviously that played a big factor into Nico Harrison's firing and plays a big factor into their trade market with them. That one we'll just have to see. Kyrie out since last season, no timetable, but a lot of optimism he'll play soon. And good Lord, they need a point guard very badly. Really not as bad of a roster. I watched a team bust their ass, and I have watched a lot of Mavs games this season. I've watched them bust their ass to try to win games, and they just do not have consistent point guard play at all whatsoever, period. And it shows.
We talked today, people saying that it looks like Jason Kidd's trying to get into front office work.
Well, I know a team who needs a GM. He doesn't have to move. Just have to beat Dennis Lindsay out, I guess.
And I've seen on the internet, you can help me tell if this is true or more true than I know. People complaining about Cooper Flagg's usage on offense. And he's being told to like sit in the corner, basically.
That is absolutely correct.
That sucks.
There's whole quarters where he's not even really actively touching the ball. It does suck. It's a part of why the two timeline stuff is a sticky situation. I'm not going to kill Kidd for it necessarily. I'm sure Mavs fans are happy to. I would probably say the good news with him is that in that game that I was attending and the other games I've watched so far, he hasn't had too big of a problem understanding that by the end of the game or as the game's slipping away that he should break that and just take guys on. But a lot of that's nitpicking an 18-year-old, like I just watched an 18-year-old kid basically start to slowly learn basketball in front of me the other night. I mean, he's an incredible player, but it's just little things like, he wasn't attacking Harden like he should. And I don't know if that's the coaching telling him, but Harden's having a great night that night. He needs to attack more. Not only because, and I get it, Harden's not as bad a defender as he's been memed to be. He's a big, stout dude. But ultimately, the more you attack and kind of go blow for blow with them, you're wearing out the old man a little bit. And that he didn't do that enough. That was something. The help.
He's basically twice his age, so.
The help, yeah. And the help is also was an awful thing. I mean, the Clippers were killing them with just help defense, right? Because there's just no real threat of establishment offense. Like Najee Marshall and D'Lo had amazing games in that. That is literally the best you're going to get with this roster.
I thought part of Kidd's whole identity as a coach was bringing the defense.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Their defense is overrated by personnel too. If you look at it, I mean, the rookies are never good. D'Lo's not good. PJ Washington's a little undersized. Daniel Gafford's a little undersized. Derek Lively is not progressing at all like he had hoped to progress at one point. So I think those factors are more important than Jason Kidd. And it could also be Jason Kidd. It's just this thing's a mess, man.
Yeah.
Klay Thompson was amazing in the second quarter of the game, and he just does not really play until close to the end of the fourth in that. And it's just like there's even a lot of inconsistency with him. And I just think ultimately they have to maybe even make a little bit of a bad trade to kind of just switch this thing up. Like
The whole thing, yeah.
I mean, just switch it up a little bit, whatever. If it's Gafford now, I don't think that's probably, I came in here thinking it should be Gafford. It probably should be, you probably need Gafford because Lively's not lively like he needs to be. So then it's probably Klay, and it's like, all right, just get Klay on, and then you have the money to get Musa to a full-time deal. He's having a great time. He's going to play well. I think ultimately he is going to replace Gafford or Lively within this season or next. He's a very talented player. He was a part of Penny Hardaway's Memphis class with Wiseman, I believe. Kind of went through a weird college career, but really talented kid, and he's got a good shot with the Mavericks, and he looks like he's using every second of it. So
I will say I saw on the just throughout NBA Twitter some talks about potentially Najee Marshall also getting moved. I don't know how valid that is or not.
I mean, Najee
what that
Marshall
changes.
Also, like what I was talking about, while I would consider him to be extremely valuable to the Mavericks, if you're not serious about winning in all actuality and you are ready to cash in some chips, he might be the most valuable right away. So that I would understand. But yeah, we'll look at Mavs trades as they go. Mavs are, they're heavy favorites to be the first to make a trade this season, even if it's not AD. In season, rather. I guess there have been trades already, but Christian Braun, Nuggets have been looking good. He's been out since the 12th, and he will probably not be back until 2026. Jaden Ivey, this is a fun one. Pistons have started out really well. They've always been a little bit of like concerns of how much do you want Cade and Ivey together for the future. It doesn't matter. We suck. We try the best player available. All right, well, now that this is fruition, is Jaden Ivey coming back to audition as a trade piece? We'll see. He's beginning his rehab with G League soon. All the Warriors are basically day-to-day right now. Just every Warrior that you can think of, they are day-to-day for the foreseeable future. Fred VanVleet out for the season. That happened shortly before the season started for the Rockets. Tari Eason, a hip injury, probably out until Christmas at best. They're still playing well, but obviously those are two significant injuries, especially Fred VanVleet for their long term. Indiana already off to a bad start with Halliburton. Now they got Obi Toppin and Aaron Nesmith missing like solid chunks of the next couple months. So they probably are locking in the worst record in basketball this season.
I hope they get the number 1 pick.
Well, funny you mentioned that because the Clippers are next and their pick is up in the air and it's currently in the hands of Sam Presti and the number 1 overall and just about everything Thunder. Kawhi with an ankle injury out since the 4th of the month and it's Kawhi, so good luck guessing when that's going to end. Bradley Beal got shut down for the entire season over a back injury, a fairly mysterious back injury, but one that might not be that mysterious in the long run. DJJ, Derek Jones Jr., played very well against the Mavericks. While I was there, had a knee injury in the next game after, and he's out until the calendar year 2025. So that pick is definitely basically a lottery lock at this point, and again, owned by the Oklahoma City Thunder. Memphis is going to be without Ja Morant for a couple weeks over a calf sprain. But if you've been following the Grizzlies, that looks like it might just be 2 weeks of trade talks. We will see. Brandon Clark and Scottie Pippen Jr. Out for the calendar year at least. So that's on top of the Grizzlies already having the Ja issue. Now they're also got 2 role players they really need. So a lot of kids playing in Memphis this season. Miami is like a breakneck offense for the first time in forever under Eric Spoelstra, and almost none of it's been with Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero. Giannis is going to be out with a growing sprain for at least a week or two. The same team, Taurean Prince, had a neck hernia and is just out indefinitely. New Orleans, potentially the Seattle Supersonics, Zion, Jordan Poole, and DeJounte Murray all missing large chunks of this start of this season and maybe possibly most of the 2025 aspect of this season. The Knicks are basically have been without Jalen Brunson and OG Anunoby for a couple of weeks and might continue to be without OG for a while. Brunson might be back soon. Speaking of the Oklahoma City Thunder, they're killing everybody despite J-Dub not playing a single game this season. Oh, and they lost both of their rookies to the season for the most part. One of them to testicular cancer, the other one a big man to a simple basketball injury. Yes, you did hear that right. Oklahoma City lost a rookie who would be in his second rookie year. So if he doesn't play this year, he goes into year 3 a rookie. I just want you guys to put that on your radar as well. And obviously, hopefully, all is well with the testicular cancer. Yeah. Paul George just got back for Philadelphia. Jalen Green has played 2 out of 15 games for the Phoenix Suns, although the Phoenix Suns are off to a better start than we all expected, and maybe that's why. Dame Lillard, Matisse Thybulle, Scoot Henderson, all basically not playing and not with timelines for the Portland Trail Blazers. Keegan Murray finally about to play for his first game for the Kings. Dylan Harper and Victor Wembanyama, both out for probably around a month. And Walker Kessler out for the season with a shoulder injury. So I don't know if it's the breakneck speed. I don't know. Someone had a really good quote for it on Twitter where they were calling it instead of Moneyball, it was like, I don't want to butcher it, but instead of the Moneyball craze of baseball, I think there's a legitimate argument to the health and wellness of a basketball team and how much that could end up being what helps decide champions and playoff contenders moving forward. Yeah, I mean, for the most part, Caesar, you're checked out with the Mavs. That's fair. We might get you back by the mid-season. We'll see. Patrick, are you going to be tuning into Steph Castle, De'Aaron Fox basketball on a regular basis?
Steph Castle just got hurt, didn't he?
Fuck, you're right. I think Steph Castle, he was a more minor. I thought his was a more minor one.
Like a hip something?
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. That is also Steph Castle. But had no timeline with that one, really.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's fun to watch them. Whoever's out there, they're still learning, still building. Like to see them win a few more games.
It's just mostly, it is very unfortunate from a Spurs perspective because it's like, oh shit, we're cashing in, and then it's like, oh, now we're back.
The losses to the Warriors were pretty frustrating.
Yeah,
but otherwise, it's been fun.
No, it's been a good season, and like I said, it's a long one. We know the play-in is added goofiness to your ability to sneak into the playoffs. So,
yeah, I feel like it'd be disappointing if the Spurs aren't at the bare minimum a play-in team this year.
Well, yeah, because I think ultimately that goes back to, no offense to Dylan Harper, no offense to Steph Castle, but it probably goes back to how many games missed for Wembanyama. You know, so that's just the unfortunate part of his body, but. Again, and I mentioned this with a lot of other people, some of these might be more serious injuries than other. I'm not accusing.
It's early enough in the year just to not take chances, right? So
yeah, I'm not accusing anyone of anything. The courts are a little bit, and maybe the NBA does need to clean this up. Is another aside to why I wanted to put together this list. This is also sort of why the gambling feels very scary for the NBA, is because this is just a lot of chaos. And
yeah, it's already a gamble buying a ticket. I'm not putting money on someone not even playing that night.
Well, not even just that. It's just like, think about it. Like if I'm a Hawks fan, like is Trae Young, or if I'm a Grizzlies fan, is probably the best way. Is my best player injured, or are they trying to trade him right now? You know what I mean? But if I'm the Clippers fan, I'm like, oh my God, they're all just dying. Like, I need James Harden to be a superstar for the love of God. And like, that's legitimate. It's just, or the Mavs even at this point, just like, but it is crazy. The wear and tear. Oh, I didn't even add LeBron to this. The Lakers actually should be added to this. There's not a significant Laker injury at the moment.
I'm confused why he's gone to the G League team to not play. Like, what is he even doing there?
They just go to practice. It happened a little bit when I would be working for the Legends. You'd have a couple of rehab assignment guys go in there and just scrimmage with the practice.
Yeah,
I forget who went in there when it was somebody, not that. It was
cool if they did like baseball does, and they played, a rehab game in the.
They could, and like in Jaden Ivey, he probably will play in the G League since he's young enough. He probably will go ahead and just play a game or two there and get his legs right and make sure everything feels right. But for LeBron, yeah, there's not a chance in hell. They're just going to assign him to go play with the scrimmage, which is probably a legal formality in the contract, so that he can go actually physically play basketball with the G League players. And then as soon as that's done, all right, cool, he's ready to play. It's just a warm-up, It's a clever way of warming up your old guy, especially. Yeah, so there you go. Lakers just got LeBron back, but otherwise they actually should also be on it. Also, that's probably impactful for their good start to the season. Their defense is terrible statistically, even though they've got quite a fun offense to watch. So a lot of basketball to be played, nothing too crazy in that world. We'll go ahead and switch it over to the crazy world because we probably are going to need a second or two here in the college football world. Oh, yeah. I got the intro.
This is Past the Rough.
I'm a man!
Wonderful.
Fucking love Lane Kiffin, dude.
No
What,
fucking belt. Oh my god,
just,
that's good.
what a character, man.
You know what?
Keep it at Ole Miss forever. Just,
So I think this was actually last week, but then I didn't see it till this week, so I like cut it up and stuff. But then I was like, oh, it's not this week, so I took it out. But we'll go ahead and we'll just view this here. Speaking of Lane, oh, I don't know why I thought it would just be an immediate upload.
Oh, okay. It's not current. I was like, oh, okay.
We'll just give it like, if we just think about it for like half a second,
Lane.
won't even be all that
Well,
long.
I mean, everything is about lanes, so that's fine. This whole we're all just there. You go. Oh, right. Yeah, this was nice. Yeah, this did happen. This was against they were playing Buttfuck State or whatever. The Citadel. That's where they're playing.
They get engaged on midfield, and in comes Lane in the picture. Beautiful.
hey, what a safe bet to have your proposal, right? If you're gonna do it at a game, you're like, oh yeah, we're beating up on
You need to double. You need to be very confident that the person you're proposing to is into that.
The kind of person.
Oh yeah, no, I don't mean them saying yes. I mean you're working on the assumption that it's yes, but you're attaching your proposal to a game, and therefore, like, you want the game to not be remembered as a loss.
Oh, like when
then your proposal.
Oh, you mean picking the Citadel to do that?
when
Yeah.
your football team trying to pick your homecoming opponent, you're like, ooh, these are all bad. We're gonna get crushed.
Yeah, because imagine you get your proposals right before the game, and then the team gets blown out, and then the camera finds you and your now fiance with the look of like.
No, that's true, but it's such an SEC football thing to do.
Oh, 100%.
I'm sure both of those kids are probably fucking legacies to Ole Miss too. So, yeah, I mean, we're gonna get into Ole Miss and all of the actual football in a little bit. I wanted to start from a place of news. We did have some breaking news. The quote unquote off season for the coaching hires in the college football world. Obviously never stops. James Franklin formally announced as the Virginia Tech head coach.
Did they not have one?
They have an interim. They fired the guy in the
I
season.
was like, I don't know how that works. Some guy just got to awkwardly get fired.
Yeah. And actually, funny enough, the coach they fired before this guy that they fired helped him get hired, helped James get hired. So it was there was a strange situation going on with Virginia Tech. But it was a good hire. And I honestly think, there is so much to unfold with the coaching carousel this year. But if you tell me in calendar year that this was the best hire of all these guys, I might believe it. Expectations are much different in Virginia Tech. That's fair. But it is.
Carolina's mad they hired Bill Belichick right now.
Yeah, if you're talking about North Carolina, yeah, I think no, though. I think Virginia Tech is a program that is smart enough to try to put themselves in position because they deserve it. UNC was always going to take, the most luxurious. Like, that's why I think with or without this regime, they're still the most likely to take Saudi money. Like, it's just North Carolina football is so funny, dude. They're so high in the vacated wins, and they're not that good. Like, they just have a lot of money and want to be good at football so bad. It's a really funny program. So yes and no, maybe. But James Franklin to Virginia Tech is an excellent hire. Expectations are different. Virginia Tech is a real school. They will show up. They do have a great program culture. You will be able to recruit well. And Penn State's already been hemorrhaging commits since he left, and it does seem like he's already got a couple of them ready to flip to Virginia Tech if they haven't already since the announcement. So
also saw in regards to James Franklin, he recruits heavy from the DMV area.
He's from. So this is also a James Franklin coming home story, I believe, right? I think.
I thought Penn State was that for him.
It doesn't. These guys work in a billion places, dude. No, maybe not. Oh, yeah. So I think it's just him being in the area because he's a Pennsylvania guy.
Yeah,
but he was not a Pennsylvania. He wasn't a Penn State guy either, though. So I don't know. He went to East Stroudsburg. Get it right.
Played quarterback.
They all the coaches, dude. If you look up the coaches, they're all like even Jimbo, bro. Jimbo Fisher was a quarterback.
You know what it is? I'll tell you what it is. He spent the better part of 6 years on and off with the Maryland program. Maybe that's why he's so connected into the DMV.
That's fair. Yeah. So that's where I would say, hey, he's got the connections here. He's got people who want him there, and it's going to be a great hire for that reason. Obviously, again, expectations a little bit different than Penn State. The last bit of news that I wanted us to get into is very simple here. It's one that we knew was coming. It's one that's never going to stop. Expansion, playoff expansion, to be specific. Conference expansion and realignment is still always a part of this as well, but this one's just playoffs. We've got a committee right now arguing the merits of what the new one would look like. All we really know out of it so far is that the SEC seems to be leaking that they're preferring and suggesting a 16-team slate. I don't know what the right answer on that one is. I just think it's notable that we're here because these things move quickly. It's not necessarily the NBA, the NFL, where there's these contracts that hold them steady to do something the same way for a 10-year period or whatever.
It's just not one governing body.
Yeah, so they can kind of make the rules up as they go, and things can be implemented very fast. So that's something to pay attention to as far as the news goes. But that's it for the boring stuff. We probably will need to fit this segment in each week because coaching tree will be rolling. But the good news is on the other side, there's less football that matters. So getting into the SEC, I wanted to take it from a couple different places. We know the qualifiers. We'll get into that stuff once we get to the end of this segment. But right now, the qualifiers. Hello, Mishka. You gonna help me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the SEC right now is basically A&M versus Georgia, unless Bama wins out and Georgia ties. Then Bama actually would be ahead of Georgia, I believe, right? Because it's one. Bama lost. Yeah, Bama lost to Florida State, so they have one SEC loss, but they beat Georgia.
Okay.
So technically, right now it's A&M Bama for the SEC game, even though Georgia is better technically, unless they have a BCS clause. But I'm pretty sure that it's the SEC straight up, and of course they would lose the Iron Bowl, then Georgia can get in. Rebels would need a lot of help, but Ole Miss can also appear in the game. That's basically it. As far as who's going to represent the SEC as the automatic qualifier, those are the only 4 teams after this past week. That was.
Bama's actually technically behind Ole Miss in tiebreakers too.
But how would they be behind Ole Miss if the non-conference doesn't count for the conference?
Oh, they haven't played as many conference games, so they have one less win.
Right. Yeah.
No, Ole Miss and them is they've just
because who does Bama? Bama doesn't have anybody.
Maybe because Ole Miss is 10-1 overall instead of 8-2 overall, where Bama's 8-2 overall. Yeah, I don't know.
But it's Florida State loss, right? It's not SEC loss, so I don't. You have to look at the conference only.
Well, they're tied in conference at 6-1,
and they currently have Bama ranked lower in that.
Yeah,
I just don't see how. To me, it's only logical that it's Bama.
Who did Ole Miss lose to in the conference? I already forgot.
You don't hear me?
I can hear you. I don't.
Fucking Cat's being a fucking monster right now, dude.
Oh, they lost to Georgia, so maybe it's just they consider the loss to Georgia better than the loss to Oklahoma. I don't know.
I don't know how that makes sense, but I just was reading an article today where it should be Bama. But either way, whatever. We still have time to figure this out. What happened this week was a couple of things. Florida, Ole Miss played. It was the Lane Kiffin Bowl to some. 34-24, Rebels win. Both sides cheering for Lane. You saw it. You saw the clip with the belt to ass thing. Notable story coming out of this one. Lane Kiffin given an ultimatum by his school. Ole Miss is telling him that he will have to make a decision before next Saturday. Not this Saturday, but next Saturday.
Yeah, and he couldn't possibly change his mind. It's not possible. It would never happen.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard a lot of conversation about Lane Kiffin this week, and there's many people who are debating whether he would ever dare do.
There's nothing the school can do if Florida's like
So,
revise him out. Right?
I know. You're ready to give me all of the head coaches spiel, and I understand, and you're not wrong. We just have to remember that this is Lane Kiffin, who's almost specifically the most unpredictable jackass that's ever been a part of this whole world of unpredictable jackasses. Like, he did set fire to Tennessee to go back to USC. You know what I mean? And it didn't seem like it was that bad. They even wanted to name the sewage plant after him, man. Like, Knoxville still hates his guts. Ole Miss loves him. Is Florida better than Ole Miss long term? I don't know. Are they about the same in the modern world? Probably. LSU, that's a little bit better of a conversation, but there might still be an argument for Ole Miss there too. So,
I would say, in my opinion, if he takes Florida, that's a lateral move. That's just a lateral move as currently. The
issue is Lane has a little bit of a history with them. All right, I have to
with Florida. I don't know if he has a history with Florida.
His dad?
I mean, like, his dad was a Tampa Bay Buccaneers coach. That's about it that I know.
Or Athletic, I mean.
And yeah, he was at Florida Athletic, FAU, but that's all the way down near Miami. But I will say the LSU gig, I think that you're right. That's where the conversation can be had. Whether it is
oh my God, they're claiming his father-in-law. That's a funny way to try to get me to think Lane Kiffin's going to do something. His father-in-law. Okay.
I will say I think LSU's athletic department receives more resources than Ole Miss's, and that might be the thing that gets him over there. Ole Miss, it's a solid program.
LSU's hard to pass up, in my opinion. I agree.
Yeah, and he's been in
the politics
South
of it. The expectations are a little harder.
It might be easier geographically recruiting at Ole Miss to pull the better players, and at LSU you're competing with Texas A&M, Oklahoma.
I mean, you already basically are, though, in a lot of ways. Like he is trying his damnedest to do that at Ole Miss, and so really that's the question. It's up to him to decide. And I've said it before. It's hard to predict Lane. That's the funny part. But it's also like, look, I don't. There are plenty of surprises in store because it's just that crazy of a world. We're that crazy, and I wouldn't be surprised about anything. On a related note, Texas got its ass beat by Georgia. I think that's a fair way to look at it. It wasn't really Arch's fault, even though I'm sure there's plenty of meme accounts that want to put that on Arch. It wasn't like the best thing in the world, but I'm really disappointed with Wingo. Like really, really disappointed with Wingo. You just can't. There's just nothing that's working with this kid for the most part. And I don't know if it's his fault. That's not really a budget. It's bad with Wingo. Defensively, they're incredibly overrated in the secondary. You have a bunch of kids, and you have Michael Taft, right? Taft, whatever.
Taft, yes. I'm not.
He went through this thing where everyone was thinking he's going to be the next best NFL player. I don't even know if he's an NFL player anymore.
Yeah, no.
Secondary is awful.
When they're on, it looks incredible, but then it goes quiet for a long time.
And the defensive consistency worries me because there's a lot of talent there. But it's fine. You're playing Georgia; they're good. The offensive consistency is way worse. Again, you can't run the football. The offensive line isn't that much better.
Yeah, that was always going to be the case. You just naturally assumed they were going to do a better job of replacing than they did. So.
And yeah, I think if you're going to point the finger at Sark, the thing he might deserve the most blame for this offseason, especially, was failing to do what he did for last year's team. He did an amazing job of making.
For me, like after the last 2 years, we're pretty damn successful. Like I'm not that upset if we end up with a 4-loss season this year. That's
But
in
his own words, it's Texas.
It's just the answer is what is the bounce back? Like you're allowed to have one of these. What is the bounce back?
And the other thing is, if Lane Kiffin is God's gift to college football, do you not think your boosters are going to be just as fucking? And he's more or less Sark adjacent, right? Like it's not like you would have to change that much to bring Lane in. So
might as well be the same guy to me. I really don't.
she's hungry and she doesn't want to go ask her mom for food because she thinks I have to do it all the time.
Well,
all right,
I don't know.
It's
I
just,
feel
literally
like
cat preference.
I might take my odds if I was Texas with Lane over Sark at the moment.
Well,
Maybe.
I mean, at this point, that's again, it's really not even up to them.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like, all right, yeah, the Sark thing is looking like the ceiling is not super high with that guy right now. But you also have to take into consideration the turnover from last year's team to this year's team. Yeah, you can use his quote against him from 2021 where he's like, if we're losing 3 to 4 games 4 years from now, then, there's cause for concern. And I mean, sure. Yeah. I mean, Arch doesn't look like he's developed very well. Whether he's been hurt or not all year has been a mystery. There's just a lot that's not
Looks a lot better. I think he's looking like he looks more like a guy who's actually comfortable playing quarterback. He's not executing it properly, but it feels like he's progressing, just slower than you thought it would.
Yeah, but it's really slow considering how long he's been with the program at this point, right? So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's fair. It's also in Sark's defense, it took a while for Alabama to sort of facilitate rotating the defense and offensive line like you need to. It's less about replacing Arch Manning and even the receivers to some extent, which you could also argue they didn't do that good of a job with this season. But the offensive line, you just don't get a break, man. If you're a freshman and you're playing for an SEC team, you have to be that good. Like you just don't get a learning curve. You see with the pros, like the Cowboys can afford to give their first round left tackle a little time to grow. You know what I mean? Maybe they can and can't, whatever. But for the most part, the pro game allows it a little bit more. There's no room in the SEC. You need to win all of these games, and you need to be good almost right off the rip. In Texas's case, where they had to open this thing up with Ohio State, right? So it's tough. Kirby Smart inherited a hell of a program from Mark Richt. He just took it over the top. That's way different from where Sark. I mean, it's not way different. Herman and Richt aren't too adjacent, but Richt had done it for a longer period of time than what Herman had done at Texas. Herman was basically a flash in the pan at Texas compared to Mark Richt, who basically put a good 10 years into Georgia before they were like, hey, bro, we like you, but like. And in their case, they pulled the Penn State maneuver that was the best move they could have ever made. We'll see if Penn State works out.
Yeah. Now, I wanted to circle back real quickly to the Lane Kiffin, Steve Sarkisian. For what it's worth, Lane Kiffin has a better winning percentage. He has less career losses than Steve Sarkisian as well. They're both not great in bowls, 4-4, 4-5 respectively. Lane Kiffin being 4-4, Sarkisian 4-5. And yeah, they've had multiple stops. Both coincidentally USC head coaches.
Yes, that is a funny reality. Both removed. How did it go? It was
Kiffin first.
It was Kiffin. Then it was Clay Helton. Then it was Sarkisian. Then Sarkisian gets fired for booze, and that's when they go in.
Yeah.
Was Ed Orgeron the head coach there for a second?
Ed Orgeron was an interim at USC.
He was the interim. Yeah, he was the interim at USC for a second. Yeah. After Clay Helton got fired. Or was it after Sark got fired for being a booze hound?
I don't remember the order in that one.
Yeah, so that one, USC head coaching went crazy after Pete Carroll. So, yeah, Oklahoma, Bama, that also happened. That was probably the biggest game of the weekend, ultimately, most important, because it more or less put OU back in the driver's seat of being one of the teams representing in the Big 12, or in the Big 12, in the playoff. And obviously, it's back-to-back years they've beat Kalen DeBoer in Bama. So that definitely feels notable if you're a Crimson Tide fan calling into Paul Feinbaum. Otherwise, Bama's still fine. it kind of just reminds you that like it's really Georgia and everyone else. With all due respect to A&M, and we'll get to A&M obviously here in a second, because Georgia just feels the most competent. This Texas team is not that good. There's plenty of times where you can make a fair argument for them to be overrated. At the same time, the way they beat them down, the way that a fairly competent Texas team has been playing, I think shows me, just like they did the week before, Georgia's pretty damn serious. And they may have a little bit of an issue beating Bama, but I don't even know if they'll have to see Bama again in this. We'll see.
No, I mean it's likely you're gonna have A&M versus Georgia, and you're gonna see if A&M does fit in there or not before the playoff starts.
Yeah, and I do want to spend a little time on A&M. So is there anything else from OU Bama that y'all thought interesting other than the final score here? They didn't run the ball much against Bama, still won. This felt like a little bit more of their defense, and Brent Venables really showing his worth and mettle, which far from where I thought he was going to be at the end of the season. So we will see. From there, Oklahoma doesn't get much easier for them. We'll talk about the week to come in a second. The game of the week, though, for the entertainment perspective, was probably South Carolina A&M. This one started off our Saturday morning, 30-3. South Carolina doing everything
Before the game even started, our day started like this.
That was not how it started.
That's not before the game?
No. So
I'm
you
sorry.
actually did, but you actually were right. So let's explain a little bit about battered Aggie syndrome for those that may not be aware. This is a phenomena that is actually very much understandable for most Aggie fans. This is the first time since I literally was born, the year I was born, that they have had a team this good.
No, 98.
This far? No, they had 12-0. It was 92. But they started off this good, 10-0 or whatever.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Now they've had teams maybe
They
more
finished
successful.
7-1, finished 11-3.
Even though 98, I would still argue, is before I'm going to be able to pay attention and remember who was doing what. But still, they have had a lot of years, including the Johnny Manziel swagacopter era with Kevin Sumlin, which we thought, oh shit, Texas A&M might actually be taking the leap they always say they are going to take. Mike Elko certainly making the best case so far of any Aggie I've seen. He gets his contract extension before the game. This is where your battered Aggie syndrome starts to kick in. Patrick, you're usually the one who's pretty quick to poo-poo a contract extension from a college head coach. So you can understand where that might not be the news you want to see right before the game. You know, you're like, it's good news, but it's like, it's kind of annoying.
It means nothing to me.
It means really nothing to a lot of people other than buyout numbers, right?
Yeah.
I will say, for Mike Elko, an extension of why I really, even though I despise pretty much everything about that university and its football program, I can't say enough good things about Mike Elko. He ends up adding an assistant bonus here, so they almost immediately get paid for them going to college football playoff.
Yeah, I get that kind of thing. Yeah,
that was really cool.
Yeah,
maybe that happens regularly and we don't know. That's fine. Maybe he publicized it for his own good. You can be a pessimist. That's fine. But ultimately, I thought that was nice. And then I really loved his quote about the comeback when they asked him about his halftime speech. He said he's the opposite of the moment. He gave a lot bigger speech, but the opposite of the moment was really what was the gist of it. And I thought that was a really cool way to look at it, because he was basically like, look, I have to be whatever. If they're too scared, I have to be the one who calms them down. If they're too hype, I got to bring them down to a level. And so I just thought that was an impressive answer. Biggest comeback in Aggie history, 31-30 final with the Ags after being down 33 at halftime. Shane Beamer probably regrets this moment quite a bit. This is the halftime where he's, there are some Scar fans here, to his credit. There's some Scar fans there, but that's College Station. We know that that's 99% maroon for the other side there. So a little bit of taunting in that, and then the moment you showed, this is actually in the midst of being having their ass kicked in the first half. his potential NFL star wideout. I forget his name. Caesar, you remember Harbor? You haven't heard Harbor from South Carolina yet? Impressive.
Yes. I know who you're talking about. I think we talked about him like a few weeks ago on the show.
Player. So he scores like a 70-yard breakaway touchdown. He runs up the alley.
Oh.
It comes back down the alley, to which him and this cop have a little interaction. There's a lot more to this. So cop kind of throws his weight into both of the guys, which is weird. Then yells at him, which is weird. He was dismissed quickly.
What does that mean? Did you send home?
Yeah, just sent home.
Okay.
I mean, you're not going to get reprimanded for that being Texas State PD. From what I also understand, not the best paying gig in the that's not like the highest level gig in the force. And then on top of it, allegedly, because this is internet sources, and I'm gonna trust these Aggies to not be complete Aggies here. They do have a different like canon situation for their in-game thing, and it's allegedly up that ramp. So it is a little bit more of a public safety, whatever that cop is guarding. At the same time, common sense, brother, you just watched them score a touchdown and go up the thing and come back down the thing. They were celebrating football players wearing football outfits. You watched it happen, brother. So as much as I want to give them just a couple of grains of defense there, impressive dickhead behavior by, something that is my life as a lifelong Texan. This is your experience with any cop in Texas right here.
Yes.
So, yeah, that's how they're going to act. They're going to be the aggressor, and you're going to be the one at fault for it.
Especially if it's like a state patrol type of guy. Absolute dickheads. The biggest ones.
We also got this beauty from the game. You can tell what Mike Elko's saying here, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, dude, it was bad. I mean,
I'm pretty sure this is like in the middle of the comeback too.
Was it?
Yeah.
That should be part of the College Cruising intro now.
So here's the thing. Honestly. So honestly, South Carolina should have won this game. Not only from the 30-3
football team up 30-0 at the half should win that game 99.9% of the time.
And I have a couple of reasons why. Most of the comeback takes place in the third quarter. South Carolina has many opportunities to even save themselves from the 31-30 deficit. But even to get to that point, A&M has multiple fuck-ups in that third quarter that just aren't taken advantage of.
What is that? F me.
And Elko probably also thought the game was over at that point. Scar took advantage of 0. If they took advantage of 100% of the things that happened in the first half, they took advantage of 0 in the second.
I don't even know if it's not. It's like it's worse than not taking advantage. They actively made it work. Like back.
They did give it back. There was some horrible. There was it all kind of is encapsulated by. There's I think a 4th and 1. Maybe it's a 4th and 2 or 3. Very close. This is it. This is the last shot. If you give the ball back here, it's over. And I think it out.
I think that is this.
No, right? No. This is
South Carolina.
Sorry. Scar. And they call basically what's a halfback dive to me. I don't know the difference in it, but it's basically
up the
our guys are going to push your guys, and our guys just going to follow through. And that's insane, not only because momentum's on the other team's side, but because Texas A&M legitimately, even if they were over, has about 4 NFL guys on that defensive line linebacker core. So, like, just an incredible poor decision. You have Lenoris Sellers. That is the perfect time for your bootleg, for your screen game, for anything other than we're going to Jason Garrett the first down. Because the hat on the hat ain't going to win if you have less talented dudes, bro.
Look, when you have Marion Barber, you just keep sending him up in the middle.
So, yeah. Fun week for the SEC. That's where we're at. I think, is that all the SEC clips? We don't have too many.
I think so.
Yeah, you have those. Okay. Big Ten. The co-conspirator in the conference realignment game. There are currently 5 teams, technically, with the ability to still be the conference champion representing that way. That is Ohio State at this moment, the best team in the country, and has been since this thing started. Actually started. Then you have the Indiana Hoosiers, who have been an incredible story, obviously. Michigan Wolverines, who have not been the greatest football team ever, but winning a hell of a lot of games. USC, who looked like they threw away their season, and Lincoln Riley was on the way out the door, to now might be able to sneak their way into a playoff if they win a couple of games. And the Oregon Ducks, who usually should be here. We had Iowa USC this week. This was another comeback game. USC was down most of this one. Iowa also brought the rainy weather. I think there was record-setting rain in LA for this game. 26-21 is the final, though. Trojans do pull that one out. This gives them a chance next week to play themselves into the more or less give themselves a shot at the Big Ten game, or at the very worst, argue that they could be 11 or 10 in the college football rankings and sneak into the playoffs. Michigan plays Northwestern at Wrigley Field, needs a field goal to win that one, 24-22. So those games aren't as notable for the teams showing us their worth as more or less those teams technically staying alive. Because obviously Ohio State, Michigan still need to square off, and USC will be playing Oregon this week. So
We're right back.
You got it. So the Big Ten, obviously, in that position. When it comes to the ACC, we have quite a weird situation in the ACC. Everyone, Caesar, is going to be talking a lot of shit about the American, about Conference USA, Sunbelt, whoever ends up getting that qualifying spot. But we're not doing nearly enough shit talking of the Atlantic Coastal Conference at all.
Which we should, because that conference is not great, man. Not.
We came into this last week with Louisiana. So basically 2-3 weeks ago, Louisville beats Miami, puts themselves in the driver's seat, and then just inexplicably drops 2 in a row. They lose to Dabo's boys 20-19 on Friday night. Now they went from driver's seat in the ACC to not even contending for the ACC championship anymore. Notre Dame beat the piss out of Pitt. Not too surprising there, but Pitt's still alive technically because Notre Dame's not in their conference. Georgia Tech beat Boston College barely, so they remain in the driver's seat for the Atlantic Coastal Conference. However, they are more or less a fun upstart program at this point and less a serious threat. Similar, the Virginia Cavs with Chandler Morris at quarterback again. He was injured for a brief moment this season. They are technically who would be playing Georgia Tech and then also being the upstart program. So, look, if Georgia Tech or Virginia makes the playoff as the ACC champion, awesome story, great time. If the Hurricanes do it, we're all right, really talented group. Couldn't be more flawed if they Carson Beck is gonna give a game away.
100%.
Just win. And then SMU technically still involved in this because they did fuck up the Wake Forest game. If they didn't fuck up the Wake Forest game, they'd be in a better position.
Yeah.
But still technically alive there for a year where they're
now
trying to keep their coach.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but the ACC champion does get an automatic bid into the college football playoff, right? Or they?
Yeah.
Okay. So then, I don't get the conference because it should be, in my opinion, it should be Georgia Tech ahead of Miami in the CFP standings.
Well, yeah, right now the CFP is just giving more credit to the Miami Hurricanes talent level, I would say.
But that shouldn't
Georgia Tech will represent because they're not getting 2 in. They're not getting 2 in.
Yeah, and that shouldn't even count. I whatever criteria they're using, oh my god, it's just so ass backwards. Just so.
No, yeah, the way they're doing it leading up is definitely pretty funny, and we'll see if the Miami Hurricanes get a chance to. represent. Like I said, you have to win the ACC. This conference has not shown us to be good enough, or at least they don't get the benefit of the doubt as the Big Ten and the SEC does. Where, you lost to teams in your conference. No, people don't care. You lost to Wake Forest. You lost to who? Like, we don't. Like, we're not. You lost to Louisville. No, Louisville's good, but obviously, Big 10 or Big 12 not as crazy. There is a lot of teams still alive to play Tech basically at this point. Tech beat the shit out of somebody. Ended up having their linebacker play quarterback for a second to try to boost his Heisman odds. But from the games I noted, Utah beat the piss out of Baylor. TCU got their ass beat by BYU, and Arizona basically ended Cincinnati's shot at getting into the Big 12, even though as the automatic team. Right now, it almost is certainly going to be Texas Tech, BYU for the Big 12 championship. Utah Utes, Houston Cougars, Arizona State, and then technically Cincinnati all still have paths to get there. The field, which is basically just the American Conference and James Madison at this point. USF loses to Navy. Didn't look like that one was going to hold out, but thankfully the Naval Academy did just enough to hold that one out.
Bless them. Bless the midshipmen for that one, man. I was watching that with my dad. I was stressing out while also having the UNT game on. Though I wasn't stressed out about that, but I'm like, come on, just give me some hope here.
No, absolutely. And it was probably the best thing that happened to UNT maybe for a while, because our Mean Green would very easily beat the Blazers 53-24.
Caleb Hawkins with a hell of a day, by the way.
Caleb Hawkins, incredible. Are we now the most 50 burgers in the season by an FBS team?
I'm not sure, but we do lead the NCAA in scoring, so I would assume so.
Yeah, I think we're either there or we're one of two. James Madison did win 58-10 over Appalachian State. They have a little bit more challenging opponent this week. We'll get to that. Tulane beat FAU, not convincingly, 53 or 35-24 rather. But the Green Wave did, and
I don't know about 50s in a game, but North Texas is at 4.7 points a game.
Nice.
UNT has had 5 50 burgers this season. Could have had 6 against Army.
Yep.
Army
Against Army. That game was 45-38. So
I guess I'll play Army.
FAU Tulane. That game got notable because John Sumrall this week was linked. Actually, today, really, this all kind of happened. Was linked to be interviewing with the Florida job, and then a representative for the Florida Athletic that covers Florida said that a representative of his declined to be a part of the Florida race. Will that stay? Who knows? But at least for now, Sumrall has both been rumored to be a Florida Gator and said he will not be a Florida Gator specifically.
Yeah.
So that's notable. And John Sumrall is 100% one of the guys I expect to be a part of this carousel. Like, all these guys can lie to us and stuff, but we already have enough schools. And I don't know if Texas is a part of it. I don't know if North Texas will be a part of it. I don't know if Tulane. I don't know who's losing head coaches here. But there's too much shenanigans coming down the pipeline for everyone to be feeling comfortable about where they're at. So just get cozy with the chaos, okay? Because unless you're fucking Kirby Smart, I don't know, man. Even Kalen DeBoer, there's even rumors of Kalen DeBoer dipping for Penn State, man. Like, there's some funny stuff out there right now. So believe nothing, but enjoy all the flight tracker data you can get and all the really creepy people that hide in bushes at private airports just to get like an awful picture of maybe Lane Kiffin's ex-wife.
Right. Now, I want to follow up on what I teased earlier in the beginning of the program during our introduction, because this is regarding UNT and this is regarding the fact that Tulane is ahead in the CFP.
We need to talk about ranking anyway, and I feel like maybe it's good to go ahead and start by acknowledging this is the first AP-ranked UNT Mean Green football program at 22 since
the 1959, I believe, or
69, 59, yeah, something like that.
Something like that. It's been over 60 plus years.
But and then I'll let you go on a tangent here. We rank behind JMU in the AP, and as you're saying, Tulane is currently projected ahead of us by the CFB, even though that's kind of meaningless. It is a disrespectful thing to do.
Now, this is why I think this is actually not a bad thing that Tulane is ranked ahead of North Texas in the CFP, right? Because at the end of the day, the AP poll is its own separate thing. I'm sure that the playoff committee takes some of it into account, but not a ton of it. Here's why it's important for all us Mean Green fans to really kind of be excited that Tulane's ahead. The reason being, the CFP clearly values the AAC champion, the American Athletic Conference champion, or who they perceive to be the best in the conference, ahead of James Madison, right? So they clearly put more weight into the American Athletic Conference over the Sun Belt. That is your one just silver lining right there. North Texas controls its own destiny, right? All they have to do is win out. They already have a tiebreaker over the midshipmen. You're more likely to go ahead and face Tulane in the championship game. That might have to be a road game, unfortunately, for the Mean Green. However, if you win that game, likelihood is it is going to be a ranked matchup, right? It'll be North Texas in that 20s range. Tulane will probably be number 25 in the AP poll if this holds up, if they manage to win out. And then you get a ranked victory on top of a conference championship to go ahead and catapult yourself into that 12th seed. Now, this is all, just speculating and everything, but that is the likelihood that presents itself to North Texas with respect to getting into the playoff.
Yep, that is where we stand at this point. I was going to grab a screenshot here from the old Twitter machine.
Now, I will say the CFP is stupid for not putting us in there already, but that's neither here nor there. They've made a lot of questionable decisions.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the fact that I think the CFP does weigh more heavy on what your program is historically, and Tulane with with James Summerall has been a very talented group, right? Like they have been able to win consistently over a few seasons. In fact, really, you could argue this is was kind of supposed to be a down year for Tulane, more or less, and they've been just fine. So, or retooling year, however you want to look at it. But yeah, I mean, it's a weird one. I want UNT to carpe the diem. At this point, they've already done incredible. I still want the bowl game win. And that's tough because do you want the bowl game win or do you want to play in Lubbock? Because that's kind of what it is right now. And I don't expect that to change much. This is the current bracket as it stands. If it were to start tomorrow, you would have Mean Green, I guess, if they were to get in, playing the Texas Tech Red Raiders for the right to play Georgia.
Oh yeah,
Jesus fucking Christ! The UNT is such a fish out of water there. But I mean,
it still means so much for the program going forward to have that under your belt.
I mean, that would be an incredible gift to be a part of the playoff is incredible.
Let's think about it. Think about how many Power 5 schools who have a hell of a lot more history than UNT have yet to make it into the playoff, and you just kind of have that.
No, yeah, it becomes an instant funny shit talk point to a lot of better, like especially Arkansas. Like Arkansas fans are never going to want to speak to UNT people again if that happens. Like we got a playoff and we beat y'all's ass when we were shitty. Like, come on.
And imagine if they actually get a win, which is hard to imagine because that Texas Tech team is loaded. But I'm just saying.
So Texas Tech, I could buy a little bit more because this team scores so well, and Texas Tech has been a little less interesting on the scoring side, but their defense would probably win that one.
It's hard for me to forget the asking they got from Texas Tech last year. Although this is quite literally a different team from last year, considering UNT had I believe 60. There's 60 new players on the team, so
lots of new faces from that ass pounded. So as far as things go here, look, we've got nothing major changing other than the dogs jumping Bama. You don't really have too much difference in the college football playoff committee and the AP, other than like they value Texas Tech more than Ole Miss and Oregon, whereas the AP doesn't. Yeah, I mean that's basically it. And like you said, it's the Atlantic Coast Conference and the American Conference that are kind of sitting here and looking at this thing as we're going to be the 11 and the 12. One of us is going to be that. The ACC is basically lock at the 11, and then the American is basically a lock to be at the 12, unless we all fuck it up and then James Madison gets to walk in with it. So it is an interesting conversation, but we lean into this week. We say, what is the path forward? Oklahoma, Missouri, that'll be a big one. Mizzou basically just gets to wreck Oklahoma's season. That's really all that is at stake there for them. SMU, Louisville is just funny because Louisville kind of gets to ruin SMU's slim chances. We get Washington State at James Madison. If Washington State wins at James Madison, then that would more or less eliminate them from the playoff. You have USC, Oregon, basically playing for whatever odds to make it into the big dance, either by pity of the College Football Committee or by sneaking into the Big Ten game based off of Ohio or Indiana fucking it up. But I think Indiana just has Purdue left, and then of course Ohio State has Michigan, so that's not an easy one. Arkansas, Texas this week. That'll be mostly for us. Just made fun of the Arkansas fans. Sark, don't fuck that one up, bro. Sark, I'm gonna tell you exactly what the boosters are gonna say if you fuck this one up. Okay, I got a spoiler report on that one. Okay, and Texas will be an open job if they fuck that one up to Arkansas. You can lose to A&M at home. You fuck that one up to Arkansas right now.
I don't know if they're going to fire their coach the week of the A&M game, but maybe.
It doesn't have to come during he can win the A&M game after that one. I don't know if you're redeeming yourself from losing to Arkansas after all that happened this year. Florida was already sort of in, a bad one. They didn't feel very prepared for a game that they could have probably still won even after a bad start in that game. But losing to Arkansas would be just dreadful, man. Just dreadful, especially because if you get to beat A&M, it's probably just going to be for the right to be like, haha, we beat A&M, because it ain't going to mean shit to you. And it probably won't mean shit to A&M. So it already basically doesn't mean anything to A&M.
I mean, they're still – if they have a perfect going in, they
championship hopes. It does nothing.
No.
It unless they lose to Samford and then to Texas, they have really no option. It really just beat Samford and you're in to the SEC and the playoff, regardless of what happens against Texas. Tulane and Temple, that one's going to be interesting because obviously Tulane's in this. Temple's not that great, but never know. TCU Houston, this is again just because Houston's staying alive. TCU is not that bad, so if Houston's chances are to stay alive, they'll need to beat a decent TCU team. Georgia Tech, Pitt. Like I said, Georgia Tech, they're in the driver's seat. Just win, right? It's the ACC. Do we trust them to beat Pitt? No, we don't. Pitt just lost 2 games in a row against really good opponents, so it is very likely that they could also fuck the Georgia Tech Yellow Jacket season up. I went by CFP when I wrote this, so this is unranked UNT on my list, but it's UNT Rice. Just win that one, obviously, for UNT. A little bit more than that, but just win that one for now. BYU Cincinnati doesn't mean a whole lot, but it will more or less eliminate Cincinnati officially if BYU wins, and then really puts BYU into a rematch with Tech. And then finally, don't forget, Caesar, you forgot.
What
the
I
East
forget?
Carolina Pirates will be playing the UTSA Roadrunners, and that is still a significant game to the American Conference. So it's a little bit of it's a more on the fringes But if UTSA wins that game, it makes the conference a little less crazy to predict going into the final. And that's
Fair
basically it. Oh, one other point in news and note. We didn't need it. We don't need it. College football fans, not as smart as NBA fans. Yes, that's biased, but it's also true. We're not doing centels for college football. Everyone will believe them. Case in point, the UTEP story. Did you guys see the UTEP?
Yes, I saw it was on my feed.
It's good. It was great bait. It was NBA centel level bait.
Yes.
But that's exactly why it cannot exist in college football. The fans are too stupid. They are not the NBA fans trained and ready for misinformation. Okay.
What happened?
There was a fucking. It was what was it? It was the Conference USA Centel. That was
it was
account.
Conference USA
This is
Centel,
incredible. That alone, that there's a Conference USA Centel account,
which should have been giving college football fans alarm bells immediately, red flags.
When I first read it, I kind of believed it, and I was like, "Wait, is that a Centel?" I was like, "What the fuck? Why is there a Centel here?"
So, Patrick, the story that was tweeted out by this Centel Conference USA Centel account was that the UTEP athletic department was essentially taking in money from the cartel.
Yeah,
and then they showed
the cartel was they were secret boosters, and then it was about to be this big thing that everyone found out about. And I think the first clue for me before I even noticed Centel was they credited a local paper but didn't tag them. I was like, okay, no, wait a second. Why would you tag them? Like, okay, you're bad at social media. Oh, no. Because you don't want this fucking publication being up your ass for this tweet because this is fucking bullshit. It's funny, but it's bullshit.
It's so funny.
Maybe,
Dude.
although this one might be a Centel imitating life as well. Because what if someone actually investigates UTEP now?
Hey man, listen, if that ends up being true, fire the AD and the coaches at UTEP, not because they're taking money from the cartel, but because they can't do anything with that money.
Yeah.
They haven't done shit with that money.
They should already be worried about what they're doing with the cartel money. They don't need us to get involved.
Yeah, I'm like
that'll sort itself out. You can just send them that famous meme video of that guy reading that letter at his birthday party. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Yeah, that meme is dark. That is easily the darkest meme on the internet because people just use that so freely, and it's like that dude got.
Oh well, no. Oh, you're talking about the singer. Sorry, that was somebody else.
Yeah, the singer guy, and he's like,
it wasn't his birthday
reading
party.
a note. He's reading
here.
He had just read a note, or he was reading a note that was like, "You're."
Yeah, they're like, we're gonna kill you after this, and he played.
Spoiler alert. Yeah. So either way. That's the last bit of college football news officially. Don't get Centel, especially by Conference USA Centel, even though I know you all are actively chasing all the Conference USA news you can get.
Let's wrap it up with a couple of fun little clips here that we didn't quite see yet. There's probably like 6, I think, so we can fly through these. This is from Ohio State. We got a nice little hurdle touchdown, just pretty basic stuff, you know.
UCLA is going to
go completely over the man hurdle.
UCLA is going to go 0-4 to start, then win 3 in a row, and then probably lose out the rest of the season. It's just incredible.
Textbook clean hurdle. I don't know.
UCLA was fun for those 3 games. That was a fun time.
Next, we're going to look at Cal Poly, who trailing at the end of the first half. Was going to attempt like a 48-yard Hail Mary here.
Hell yeah. Watch some Big Sky football.
And
I watched like a little bit of Big Sky football this last weekend. I was waiting for college football final to come on.
Different angle here. It'll cut behind the end zone.
Who's Cal Poly playing?
It's a really good question.
NAU. Northern Arizona. I'm pretty sure. Seriously.
And there's the ball.
That's a fun little dome that they're playing under.
To Oregon, we're
49ers are going to draft that quarterback second
we're going
overall.
to count not 1, not 2, but 7 broken tackles.
The Gophers. I thought there was hope for the Gophers this year, but
oh my god, dude!
They're definitely in that second tier, third tier, whatever you want. The Big
That
Ten.
last guy was just going for the strip. He wasn't trying to tackle at all, but still.
Did he Deshaun that?
Oh,
No.
he almost did though.
But that would have been an accidental Deshaun.
Yeah,
No.
but he never lost control. Like he never lost sight of the ball. So
Our last two plays are both going to come from the Notre Dame Pitt game. This was a 2-point conversion. Pitt was trying in the third to make it a 17-point game versus an 18-point game. And this is going to get returned for 2 points for Notre Dame.
Yeah, no,
number 8 is fast as hell.
You don't
tell
see
you-
a lot, especially because this is difficult.
I tell you,
That might be
I
the
watched
fastest Notre Dame
about-
player I've seen in years.
I watched like 3 possessions of that game.
By the way, a little bit.
I watched like 3 possessions of that game. Almost instantly knew that it was going to be a bad day for Pitt.
I think I sped that up by like 15%.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say
Yeah,
Notre Dame doesn't recruit fast players. They
The-
never recruit
the whole field, they're all on amphetamines. And lastly, also from Notre Dame, this dude, I hope he makes it in the NFL also. 'Cause
Jeremiah Love.
yeah, an insane.
Oh, yeah, no, this is a future Dallas Cowboy.
Here's Jeremiah Love with one of the best spin moves I've seen in a long time.
Also, I don't know where he ranks in the Heisman yet, but like
He might be number 1, honestly.
he's
at this
definitely number 1. I don't know what people. I heard someone talking about the Heisman rankings, and I was baffled at how clueless people seem to be about the Heisman. Like it's almost certainly Jeremiah Love in a landslide because like Marcel Reed.
Ergs, I think Maker might.
Marcel Reed has done such a good job with A&M, but like KC Concepcion is why that team is so good. Back on this reason why Stark needs to do better in transfer portal. The people who got the nice receiver transfers seem to do really well every year, man. Get you some good receiver transfers.
Fernando Mendoza is listed.
Mendoza's the number 1. That's a good. Mendoza deserves it. I still think
And from Ohio State, Marcel Reed,
Julian Saint's good.
Jacob Rodriguez is on there, and he's not going to win it, but he is.
Yeah, he'll be invited for sure. I just
Marcel
for me,
Reed
I
over
don't see
Love?
where the argument against Jeremiah Love is. This kid is amazing, and he's definitely a big part of why Notre Dame is a serious threat. But we'll see.
right.
Well, all right. That'll wrap up the first half of this week. And when we come back, it'll be time for professional football.